A man living in his family's 500-year-old home always felt that the house held secrets, but he never imagined that one of them was hiding in plain sight behind a bookshelf in the library. When his curiosity finally got the better of him, he pushed it aside and discovered a hidden passage that had been sealed for generations. And what he found, deep inside the walls of his home, was a time capsule from a forgotten world, a discovery that would unravel the house's mysterious past. But before we start, smash that like button, make sure you're subscribed, and hit the notification bell so you'd never miss another one of our incredible stories. Freddy Goodall, a 23-year-old property developer, had a unique relationship with his home. He wasn't just living in a house, he was living in a piece of history. The sprawling manor in Brighton, England, had been in his family for generations, a silent witness to over 500 years of life, love, and loss. Its thick stone walls and creaking oak floors seemed to hum with the stories of the past. Freddy had explored most of its nooks and crannies as a boy, but he always had a feeling that the house hadn't revealed all of its secrets just yet. His work often took him away, but during a quiet period, he found himself spending more time at the historic property. It was during one of these quiet afternoons, while wandering through the grand wood-paneled library, that something caught his eye. It was a section of the bookshelf filled with dull, leather-bound books that seemed off. While the rest of the library felt lived in and authentic, this particular section felt strangely staged, almost like a prop in a play. He ran his hand over the spines of the books. They were real, but they seemed oddly uniform, and there was a faint but distinct outline around the entire bookcase, a gap too perfect to be the result of time and settling. An idea, half crazy and half brilliant, sparked in his mind. What if it wasn't a bookshelf at all? What if it was a door? His heart began to beat a little faster. He'd seen this in movies, but this was his actual home. Could it be possible? He tried to find a latch, a hidden switch, a book that could be pulled to unlock a secret mechanism. He spent nearly an hour tapping on panels and pulling on titles, feeling more and more foolish with each passing minute. Maybe I'm just imagining things, he muttered to himself, ready to give up. But his intuition wouldn't let it go. He decided to try one last thing, brute force. Planting his feet firmly on the polished wooden floor, he pushed against the solid oak with all his might. At first, nothing. The shelf was as solid as the stone walls around it. He pushed again, his muscles straining. A low, deep groan echoed in the silent library, not from him, but from the wall itself. Dust, disturbed for the first time in what could be centuries, trickled down from the top. A sliver of absolute darkness appeared as the heavy bookshelf pivoted slowly inward. Freddy's breath caught in his throat. It was real. He had just uncovered a secret passage. The air that flowed out was cold and musty, carrying the scent of damp earth and forgotten time. He peered into the darkness, but his eyes couldn't penetrate the pitch-black void. Pulling out his phone, he switched on the flashlight, its bright beam cutting through the darkness and revealing a narrow, stone-cut passage, disappearing down into the foundations of the house. "What do you think is down there?" he said to himself, his voice a nervous whisper. He knew this was a moment of pure discovery. There was no map for where he was going, no one to tell him what he would find. For a moment, he hesitated. The passage looked intimidating, a dark throat leading into the unknown belly of the ancient house. But his curiosity was now a raging fire. He had to know. He squeezed through the gap, pulling the heavy bookshelf partially closed behind him, plunging himself into near total darkness, save for his phone's light. The stone walls were cold and damp to the touch. The passage was tight, forcing him to turn sideways as he descended the rough-hewn stone steps. Cobwebs, thick as cotton, brushed against his face. Every sound was magnified, the drip of water somewhere in the distance, the crunch of grit beneath his boots, the sound of his own ragged breathing. After what felt like an eternity, the narrow staircase opened up into a small, cellar-like room. The air was heavy here. His flashlight beam danced across the space, revealing more stone, walls, and a floor of packed earth. It was empty. A surge of disappointment went through him. Had he come all this way for nothing? But then, his light caught something else. Another low archway leading into yet another room. This room was different. It was larger, and along one wall, he saw the remnants of old wooden shelves, now mostly rotted away. And in the center of the room, something made him stop dead in his tracks. It was a large, formidable cast-iron safe, the kind you'd see in an old bank. It was rusted and imposing, a silent guardian of whatever secrets it held. But that wasn't all. As he scanned the room further, he saw something even more incredible. An entire section of the wall was constructed not of stone, but of thick red brick, with another heavy iron door set into it. It was a vault, a hidden vault buried beneath a hidden room. Freddy's mind raced. Who would go to such lengths? What was so valuable that it needed to be hidden behind a secret passage, inside a hidden cellar, and then locked away inside a vault? He approached the main vault door first. It was locked tight. He ran his hands over its cold, riveted surface, looking for a handle or a keyhole, but found none. It was sealed. He then turned his attention to the large, freestanding safe. It had a combination dial, its numbers faded with age. There was no way he could guess the combination. He was about to give up hope when he noticed something on the floor, tucked away in a corner near the vault. It was a small, leather-bound book covered in a thick layer of dust, an old diary or a ledger. His hands trembled slightly as he picked it up and carefully brushed off the dust. The leather was cracked, but it had been well made. He opened it. Inside, the pages were filled with elegant, looping handwriting. The ink faded from black to a rusty brown. The dates were from the late 19th century. The diary belonged to a man named John, and it chronicled his life in the house. Freddy sat on the cold floor, completely engrossed, reading by the light of his phone. The diary spoke of daily life, but it also hinted at secrets. John wrote about protecting the family's legacy and the secret place below, a place nobody outside the immediate family knew existed. And then Freddy found the entry he was looking for. October 12th, 1888. The work is complete. The new vault is secure. Should the worst come to pass, our history will be preserved. The combination to the smaller safe is a date forever etched in my heart. My dear Eleanor's birthday, 14, 8, 61. Eleanor's birthday. He frantically went back to the old safe, his fingers fumbling with the rusted dial. He carefully turned it, 14 to the right, 8 to the left, 61 to the right. He pulled on the heavy handle. A loud metallic clank echoed through the silent chambers, and the heavy door creaked open. He shone his light inside. It wasn't filled with gold or jewels. To some, it would have been a disappointment, but to Freddy, it was something far more valuable. The safe was filled with documents, old property deeds, family letters tied in ribbon, and several more diaries, dating back even further to the 17th and 18th centuries. He had found his family's archive, a hidden history of the people who had walked these same halls hundreds of years before him. He spent the next few hours right there on the floor of the secret cellar, piecing together the history of his own home. The diaries revealed the reason for the secrecy. The passages were likely built in the 16th century, a time of great turmoil in England, and were probably used as a priest hole, a place to hide Catholic priests during a time of persecution. Over the centuries, the family continued to use the secret rooms to protect their most valuable possessions and, more importantly, their written history. They weren't just hiding wealth. They were preserving their identity. As he emerged from the passage, hours later, blinking in the daylight of the library, the house felt different. It was no longer just a collection of old rooms and furniture. It was a living museum, a testament to the resilience of his ancestors. The secret he had uncovered wasn't a treasure of gold, but a treasure of knowledge, a direct, tangible link to the lives that had shaped his own. Freddy Goodall's discovery quickly became a sensation after he shared videos of his exploration online. Historians were fascinated, and his family was in awe. They had lived in the house for decades, completely unaware of the history that lay dormant right beneath their feet. The discovery wasn't just about finding a hidden room. It was about reconnecting with a legacy that had been silent for over a century. It was a powerful reminder that sometimes the greatest treasures are not buried on distant islands, but are waiting to be found in the most familiar of places, hidden behind a simple bookshelf, waiting for someone with enough curiosity to push open the door. Thank you so much for watching. If you were amazed by this story, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and ring that notification bell so you never miss our next incredible discovery.